Hi, Internet viewers. Frank Rauscher again. We're doing the Lazuli Bunting. And I always like to show it because it's a pretty bird. And I hope you guys are enjoying it so far. I'm going to take you on from the last video. We did the tail feathers, both top and bottom. So we got that all done. And now we're moving on. We're going to do the breast area, and I'm going to show you how to do that. We'll mark it out, and then I'll show you the techniques on doing it. And if you'll stay with me, we're going to get this to fly, just like all the rest of the birds. So I think this is a real neat project. It really is. It's a pretty bird to start. And give you my little commercial. I would ask you if you do like the videos, and if you would subscribe to my channel and also give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate that. If you have any comments, always contact me. You know, you can do it through the description of the video, and my email address is there. You could send that to me. If you're interested in trying this project, I do have kits available, which give you the eyes, the feet, the blank, and the pattern, and all that. And I have several other ones. So if you get my catalog, and if you write to me, I will send you the catalog out, and we could go from there, and then we can see if we can't take care of you. I have bits available. I have equipment. I have Fordhams. I have the micro grinders. The wood burners and what have you, and the whole bit. So even the OptiVISORs, which you don't always see me wear, but I do have them on almost on every video. So I'm going to bring you over, and we'll start marking up the breast area. So bear with me 1 second, and I hope you're enjoying all the videos, okay? Okay, what I'm going to ask you to do, and again, here goes my OptiVISOR. It's not saying I don't have magnification. I have that at all times. I'm going to mark feathers out, and I'm going to just start you out on getting the feathers in. And I'm going to then show you how to do some of the techniques to bring this out. Not the whole thing, because we'll do it in like 2 parts, because this can run a little bit here. So here's what I'm going to start. You have your wing up here, and you have your throat feathers in here. So I'm going to start right off at this point right here and start making a C, okay? And they're a little bigger than the ones we have here. And I don't want to get them so uniform. So I will break it up. Then as we come off of that, I'll try to go from, pivoting it on top of one C to the other. And here we go from like here to here. And if you notice, as I start moving down, I'm going to get larger. So let me do a row. And I don't want to go to that. I sort of like try to break it up, okay, as best I can. And we'll do it right to here. And then I'll get one in here. And I'll put one right in here. And I'm going to try to get bigger as I come down. Okay. And increase as we go. By the time we hit the middle of this breast that's really popping up here, we should have a good size feather. So let me show you. So I'm going to come in like this. And I don't always try to have it so you go loop to loop to loop. No, I try to break it up. Okay, I'm not trying to get into a set pattern per se. and I try to make these C's, and all the C's are aiming upward here. And I'm going to bring that one together. Then I'll do one here. Then I'm going to get into a bigger one right along here. And I hope you guys can see this well. And then I'll get another one right in here. Then I'll put another one in here. And we're getting about the biggest ones we want to get right at the top of the crest of this breast. Okay. And then after we get off the crest, and then every once in a while I'll throw, not as big a one. You can break that up, okay, as you can see. And then I'll put one here. Now, after I reach the crest, now I'm going to start incrementally bringing it down a little bit, okay? And I'm going to do this. I've got a feather off of here. That's a pretty big one, but that's okay too. That'll work. Then I'm going to start make them a little bit smaller. I don't want to get too small because these are still good sized feathers. Okay, I'll come off of this one. I'll come off of this one. And all they are just what I call C's. Okay, and we have that area that's been concave in there. I usually try to just go into them like that. And then like here and here. And then I'll make that one big one right there. Then I'll put one right in here. There. And then we'll have one right there. Now, as we get down into the rump itself, and all this is sloping downward, okay? If you get into a profile, as you're looking straight down, this is sloping from here to here. Hope you all got that already. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put about that size of a C in here. And get another one over here. And if you notice, they're smaller than these. So as we come down, we try to take them smaller and smaller as we come. I'm going to bring that one back here. This one here. There's one here. And if you guys don't get this right, you can always erase them out and put it in again. So don't feel as though, everything's got to be just so. But there's the whole thing in the breast area that's coming down that's right on. So it's coming off of the wing here, sort of coming up and joining up that way, and the same way here too. I could actually put one more in here, one more right there, okay? Now, what I'm going to ask you to do is I have a small ball. Let's see. I don't want to get my smallest one. These are a diamond ball, and they're, let me see what the millimeter is. I'll try to give you, this is a small one, and it's about 1 millimeter in diameter, okay? And if you have one a little bit bigger, let me even show you that too. I'll get one a little bit bigger just to show you. If you have 1 millimeter, this is almost 2 millimeters. Let's go with that, because the little one really is real small, and I think we could do better. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to lift these feathers, and I'm going to do some of them, and then I'm going to ask you to follow up on it, okay? maybe on these down in here, the 2mm ball would be better because they're smaller, but the upper ones here, the 1mm, I should say, would be better for the smaller feathers, and 2mm for the bigger ones. So, but I'm going to start right up here, and I'm going to go right on the line, and I'm not going that deep. I am really not going that deep. Outlining my pencil line with the ball. And this is a diamond ball, and I'm just walking it around. Just take your time. If you don't get it, you can always back up and do it again, you know. But you want to just undercut it just a little bit. There isn't that much of a lift in there. There's a little bit of one, okay? Now, if you use the smaller one, you could probably go a little deeper. You know what I mean? Because it tends to grab better. Now, as I come down here, let's just have a better ball. I don't know if that one's cutting as much as I'd like it to be. So, some of mine, here's one. This one here is probably in between. This is probably a 1.5 millimeters, and I'm going to show you what that does for you. Okay, get that out like that. I think maybe the 1.5 millimeters will do it. So it'll track around. You can see this has more of a bite to it and gives me a nice depth of cut as I go along. Now, you don't want to go to China with this. This is not even a 1/16 deep. Maybe in some areas it'll get that way, but you really don't need to go deep. And you're going right on the pencil line. Now, I'm going to do about half of these just to get you going, and then I'm going to ask you to do the rest. Okay, but I want you to see this upper half. You've seen what I did there. Now, the best thing that's helpful that I find, and it's not that deep. I hope you can see that. It's if it's a 30-second, it's a lot. Okay, these here are even less shallow. It's not as deep. I'll put it that way. So I put all my pencil lines back in again in the valley of what the diamond bit just did. Okay, but I want you to do the whole thing. Okay, and if you have a couple different diamond balls, fine. If you want to stay with just one, I would recommend maybe like 1.5 millimeters to something like that. If you get into a 1 millimeter one, they may go a little deeper for you, and especially if they're brand new too, that really helps. They tend to grab, and you really have to control these. You have to have a, I make it look easy again, but practice this. You can get a piece of wood and do this. I'm going to outline all the ones I've done with a pencil so that you can see these here. I didn't do them all because I'm going to leave that for you, but the whole thing gets done this way. Okay, now I think I forgot one up there, so I'm going to do that one, and that is right in here. this out completely. Now you don't want to go into the wing feathers, okay? Now, that looks pretty good for the upper ones. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do on the next go around here is I'm going to get, this is you can have a diamond flame or a ruby flame, okay? Or if those who have the bullet shape, that works too. That's a diamond bullet shape. And I'm going to come in there, get my bit in there. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come in, not the ones that are buttoned up to the burn, but just after it. I'm going to come on the upper part of the feather and just undercut it so slightly, because these aren't that deep to start. I'm coming around. It's almost as like a channel around it. And I'm just going to come around very lightly and knock down the front end of my feather that I'm doing. And that'll lower that front end, okay? Just ever so slightly. I'm not doing much. Now, as we come down, because we went a little deeper maybe, where we had that other new diamond bit, we may have to go in and reduce that edge, okay? And I'm reducing all of the edge on the upper part of the feather. Here's the feather here. I'm doing all of this edge here. Here's the feather here. You can see it on the big ones. Here's like a big one right here. So I come in here and I lower the edge here. Okay. And then I'm going to lower this one. There's a real big one here. So I'll come in here and lower that without going on to my burn. And I'm just doing the front end of what would be the leading edge of my feather. And I'm lowering that. Here's one right here. I hope you can see this real well. You got a little bit of a channel edge here, a little one here. And what you're doing is you're lowering that front end like that, okay? And then I'm going to do another one. Okay. And I'll do this one. There's another one. Here. And I want to try to do all of the ones in one direction. So anything I lifted on the front end, I'm sort of dipping it down just slightly. So I'm not taking a lot of material out at all. Okay. I'm just getting rid of that channel edge that got formed when I ran that diamond in there, okay? So for the most part, maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. I don't know. What it does, it lowers the front end here. Now, I'm going to switch this around, and the back end, where we drew the C's, I'm going to roll them inward too, okay? So I'm going to come in here. The real little ones, I'm going to do it real light, okay, because there's hardly a lip there. Anyway, I didn't go that deep at all. I'm just softening the back end. So what happens is it dips in the front end and it dips in the back end of the feather. And what we're doing now is we're lowering what would be the C, the channel that is inside the feather, for the back end. Okay? And I'm not doing them all, like I said. I haven't done from here down. But for the ones I'm doing, I'm going to ask you if you would lower all of these, and you are now, what you're doing is you're shaping all the breast feathers, okay? You're giving them some shape. And if you miss some this way, then come back. Make sure you don't have any channel edges there, okay? You're sort of dipping in the back end and you're dipping in the front end. And it's just ever so slightly. I'm hardly taking any material out. I'm just doing I'm not even pressing on the bits. Hope you can see that as best we can. So we softened it on the front end, turn it around, soften the back end, and it's like domed, okay? Ever so slightly. And I'm gonna ask you to do that for all of them going down. Now, what I'm also gonna do, we're gonna texture these, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it, let me get my stones. I have an inverted cone. This is a silicon carbide stone. It's a reverse cone, and I'm going to use that edge, okay, right there. And I'm going to stick that in my machine. And what I'm going to do, and let me explain again, it's very similar to most of the processes that we do here. I'm going to come in, here's a piece of paper. We have these C's, like so. What I'm going to ask you to do, let me put a couple of them in here so you can see it. They're all piggybacking off each other as they come down. I'm going to ask you to come into the center and strike them all the way through to the back with this, like you're doing it, even past the shape of the feather. But you got to start from the top. You got to do these little ones and move your way down. And you got to be ready for them all. I only did half of them, but you got to do them all before you get this process started. Now, I'm fanning out this way, and I'm going to ask you to do that for each one. I'm going to come down the middle. I'm going past the feather line, okay, which is this right here. And then I'm going to go past that. But I'm starting from the top and move my way down. So watch me on this. And I'm using this, I'm going to mark it with that corner. So here we go. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to strike to the left, strike to the right. I'm making a fan. And I'm not going real deep neither. You got to get a feel for the depth. And it ain't that deep. And what I'm going to do is and I want you going past the feather now, okay? You're now really softening that lift that we got. But I need you to strike the whole area of these feathers, okay? I'm going to come in here, and I'm using that corner like on a 45-degree angle here, and strike it to the left and strike it to the right. Strike it to the left and then strike to the right. You're fanning out. So I come down the middle, go past the feather line, and that's what I want to do. I want to knock down anything that you may not have taken down enough and get a good consistency. And then I'm going to do all of what I've done here just so you can see the effects. Now, you may miss a spot. Hey, come on back and rake it again. You know what I mean? Or maybe you miss a feather. But I'd like you to start from the top and start this effect from the top, working your way down. Okay, that's why I'm having you go past the feather line. Okay, you're not staying within the feather like you would with a burn. I'm striking it from the top and I'm going past the feather. And to the next feather going down. And I'm doing that over here. And I'm fanning out this way. And I'm going to come back this way. Now, a lot of times, I can't tell if I did everything 100%. I think I am, but you sort of get lost in this. And one way to find that out is, I'm going to show you in a minute here. I'm going to clean this out. Now, I'm going to use a rotary brush, which is a horsehair brush, and that'll clean a lot of this out. For those who don't have one, you could use an old toothbrush and brush it out too. But the horsehair brushes are really nice. And again, when you're running them with a rotary tool, you want to run them at half speed because you'll blow the hairs right out of there. Now, there is half of it done. Now let me show you. I'm going to take my bit out. Again, this is a silicon carbide. It's a cone, upside down cone. Okay. Now I'm going to come in, and I'm getting a horsehair. You don't want to use a wire brush, nothing like that at all. This is a horsehair. Okay. I'm going to run this at half speed. So you can hear that gearing down. Now, I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to go over all that I just did, just so I could see if I got all the markings in there. And I hope you could see that. I'm going to roll this. You want to make sure you got all those markings. If you miss something, you got a little bit of spacing in between, you just come back and rake it over again, with your stone again, and do it that way. And the stones are really inexpensive, and hope you could see what I've done there. It really shows up. And like I said, you're doing the whole thing all the way down. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of spots that I could see that I have spaces between my markings. So I need to do a little bit more in there. So I'll come in like this and put a little marking. Okay, this feather I never even did, so I still got to do that one. But I got to do them all yet, okay? So that's what I want you to do, so that when we go to the next video, we're going to be working on the mantle and the coverts down in here. And we're not doing the same thing. It's a whole different ball game. But we are lifting these, and we're going to get a softer look. You can see how some of them are like popping up a little bit, okay? And they have shape. And then you're going to level it, And if there's something real high, you can always come back and hit that again with the stone and get a uniform, nice, smooth look, okay? So I want you to do this completely for this video. Get all the work done, undercut each one all the way down, and then stone it with like an inverted cone. And if you don't have the inverted cone, if you have a barrel, this is a silicon carbide barrel, or even if you have a bigger cone, that's okay too. And use the corner to edge it, okay? And that will give you a real nice look in the breast area. I hope you can see that well, okay? So I'd like you to get that done, and I'll see you on the next video. And like I said before, if you could help me out by passing my word on. If you have any friends that may be interested and want to try a project like this, I would appreciate you getting my information out. And if you would yourself subscribe to my channel if this interests you. And if you could give me a thumbs up, that also helps in my count as well. So I really appreciate that. If you need any equipment at all, just give me a holler and I will get a catalog out to you. I need your email though, and you can get that email in the body of my description. And you can write to me and I will send that out to you. And I have a whole bunch of different projects I've done. And most of them are birds, but I have done otters, and I have a whole different. I've done fish, I've done elk, I've done polar bears, I've done a lot of different things, raccoons, you name it. And if you're interested, I could get them out to you, okay? And I eventually will get a video for almost everything I've done. And I hope you enjoy what you see, and trying to teach you the tricks of the trade as to what I know, okay? But if you have a friend out there that's really good, definitely get with them, because they're going to show you tricks I may not be doing. And there's all different ways of texturing the bird. So I'm showing you my techniques, okay? And if you enjoy what you're seeing, hey, the pleasure's all mine that I can teach you what I've learned over the years. So I'll see you on the next video, and happy bird hunting. Bye now.